Hello learners, welcome to Daily News Capsule brought to you by Abid Siksha. The first news is India lights up the dark side of the moon. Second, India welcomes consensus-based approach to expand the BRICS. Third, Astra air-to-air missile test fired from Tejas in textbook launch. Fourth, no end to shortage of tuberculosis drugs. State asked to buy them on their own, says official report. Fifth, global carbon credit markets expected to touch 250 billion mark by 2030, says expert. India target over 64% renewables by 2030. So let us understand and know the explanation of all the news articles important for today. First, India lights up the dark side of the moon. So as we all know that Chandrayaan-3 has launched its lander and rover yesterday. So it has shown the world our space prowess, India's space prowess, and it is a step towards India becoming a developed nation. So let us know what is the news about. India has become the fourth country to successfully land on the moon as Chandrayaan-3 lander module with the rover in its belly successfully made a soft landing on the lunar surface on Wednesday. India has joined an elite list of countries which includes the United States of America, Russia and China to achieve this feat. India has also become the first nation to touch down on the polar region of the moon. It is the southern polar region on the moon. The ISRO said a communication link was also established between the lander Moxistrak in Bengaluru. PM Modi had applauded and said that the approach of one Earth, one family, one future is resonating across the globe. He added that this success not only belonged to 135 crore Indians but also to all of the humanity. The rover will do chemical analysis of the lunar surface, and in the next 14 days it would transmit the data collected to our scientists. So let us move on the next news, which is India welcomes consensus-based approach to expand BRICS, says Prime Minister Modi. So we all know that it is the 15th BRICS summit which is happening in Johannesburg. India welcomes the expansion of BRICS grouping through a consensus-based approach, Prime Minister Narendra Modi declares in Johannesburg on Wednesday. He urged the member state to take the advantage of India's digital solutions to work for the welfare of the global south. India's vision for this 15th BRICS summit is to push the vision of global south. The plenary session was also attended by the member countries, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, and those who attended were Brazilian President Mr. Lula da Silva, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and the host country South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa alongside with other delegates. Russia's President Vladimir Putin participated in the summit virtually with the physical presence of the Foreign Minister Mr. Sergey Lavrov. One of the main topics at BRICS is Russia's quest to create an alternative to the G7. We all know the powerful G7 countries driven political economic model. However, unlike other counterparts, Russia and China, Indian officials have not spoken aggressively for de-dollarization. So it was the topic regarding BRICS. The third news is Astra air-to-air missile test fired from Tejas in textbook launch. So both Tejas and Chandrayaan-3 has shown our prowess in both military and space sector. So it is a huge news for us. So let us know what was the news. An Astra indigenous beyond visual air-to-air missile was successfully test fired from the light combat aircraft, that is the LCA Tejas, off the coast of Goa on Wednesday. Defence Minister Shri Rajnath Singh said that the launch would significantly enhance the combat prowess of India and also of the Tejas, and reduce the dependence on imported weapons which we import from other countries. The LCA Tejas is a 4.5th generation all-weathered multi-role fighters aircraft. The aircraft is designed to be a multi-role aircraft capable of taking up offensive air support, close combat and ground attack role at ease. So that was the news. Let us move on to the next news, which is no end to the shortage of TB drugs. States asked to buy them on their own. Official report says this. So India is facing an acute shortage of tuberculosis drugs, including medicines using for treating drug-resistant TB such as linezolid, clofazimine and cycloserine. During what happened in pandemic was the number of tuberculosis cases dipped, and due to which now after the pandemic has over, so now the cases have shooted again. So there is a mismatch between the number of patients and the drugs which we have. So it has created a havoc, it has created a shortage in the market. So it is all about this news that the states has not kept in the pace, and it has resulted into a shortage. So the next news is global carbon credit market expected to touch 250 billion mark by 2030, says experts. So let us see what is the news. The global carbon market credit is expected to witness upward trend and touch the level of US dollars 250 billion by 2030, an industry executive said. Citing a Barclays report, the industry executive said factors like stringent climate policies by various countries, including India, and other commitments under Paris Agreement happened in 2015, to reduce carbon emissions, and corporate sustainability goals are likely to contribute to the growth of the carbon credit market, which is expected to reach the level of $250 billion. It is a huge number by 2030. The government is taking measures, the Indian government is taking measures to make Indian market suitable for carbon credit, which will be utilized to meet India's nationally determined goals. Union Ministers of New and Renewable Energy, Mr. R.K. Singh, had said earlier. What is carbon credit? Carbon credit, also known as carbon offsets, is a market-based mechanism designed to incentivize and reduce the greenhouse gases, that is the GHG gases emissions. So let us move on to the next news. India's target over 64% renewables by 2030. So let us look on what is the news is all about. The country is targeting over 64% of non-fossil fuel based capacity. Non-fossil fuel is those fuels which are renewable and they does not emit GHG gases, and they are cleaner gases. India has set the target having 500 gigawatts. 500 gigawatts was in our Panchamrit. It was in our Panchamrit goals that we will achieve the target of 500 gigawatt renewable energy by 2030. Coal-based power generation, however, ensures stable operation. It ensures stability of electricity transmission grid. According to latest Central Electricity Authority data, India has about 423 gigawatt of power generation capacity, which includes 206 gigawatts coal-based capacity and around 7 gigabytes of lignite-based. India is already at 45% of non-fossil fuel-based capacity, and reaching 50% renewable energy in energy mix is not a challenge, but the country is targeting somewhere around 64. So it is a huge news that we are targeting more than what we have intended earlier. So it will be a great news for us. The ministry has made it mandatory for plants using imported coals to to run at full capacity and ask domestic coal-based plants to import dry fuel for blending to avoid the shortage of high power demand. So now the government has asked to all the power plants to generate in full capacity and use coal, because our needs are high, and to meet those demands we need to use coal based, and also we are also pushing all the non-renewable sources also. So that was the news for today. To get the PDF of today's news analysis, please join the Telegram group which is in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.